You should really do something for
I
that.
don't need nothing.
The police, they couldn't help you?
You saw how the cops helped me.
Well, they're not all as bad as this one.
Look, if this guy Soltic smells the cops coming in, who knows what he'll do to Kathy. Besides, I want this bastard myself.
Okay, right off now. Let's go.
Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello. This is Wait, You Haven't Seen? It's a show where we talk about movies, and specifically, we talk about a movie at least one of us has never seen before. I'm your host, Travis, a.k.a. TV's Travis. This is episode number 360. And to go full circle on this show, I'm bringing in my good friend Josh Munro to talk about Night of the Juggler from 1980. Josh, how you doing?
Pretty good. Full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I pitched this movie to Travis like a few weeks back, and it was just, when we have a time to put it on the slot. So I had no idea it was episode 360.
I will be completely honest. I didn't realize it until earlier this week. And I'm like, oh, it's episode 360 this week. And I've got Josh on, which is perfect because,
Full circle.
It's full circle. And the genesis of this show was out of a conversation you and I had years ago. So it's very apropos.
How many years has it been now? 7?
This will be, 7 years. I started in 2019.
Yeah, it was a crazy.
I know.
Congrats for keeping it going.
Well, thanks.
We're actually picking it up and doing something with it.
Hey, you know what? I've been having fun with it, every time I get a chance to have you on, it's great. And what I love is that we will occasionally, you'll just send me like, hey, I picked up these DVDs or these Blu-rays, and check this out. And this was a case of a movie that I had never heard of before, let alone hadn't seen. So how did you hear about Night of the Juggler to pick it up in the first place?
I was thinking about that earlier tonight, or earlier today, because I feel like I've talked about the movie, like now that it exists in my life. I didn't know about this movie before. Kino Lorber did a release of it earlier, like in the fall of 2025, or
Okay.
like literally in the last 6 months. Had no knowledge of the movie, and it popped up on a list or some video or a preview. I watched like some boutique Blu-ray 4K physical media like channels and stuff. So I think it had come up as like, oh, here's a movie that was basically lost to time and nobody had it was never on video, it was never on DVD, it was never on Blu-ray, and it was recovered, and so it looked interesting enough. And I tend to get impulsive sometimes, and I bought it blindly and then messaged you immediately after finishing it saying we should do this one. And you said exactly what I said. Wait, what movie? What are you talking about?
Night of the Juggler. Yeah. You sent me that. I looked it up and I was like, Night of the Juggler, James Brolin. All right, I'm in already. Like, it's interesting. It's a 1980, so it's that late 70s, early 80s, and it's the description on IMDb got me because it's like, a tough New York ex-cop relentlessly searches for his kidnapped teenage daughter who is held by a twisted psycho. I was like, yeah, no, that sounds really interesting. And then you watched it and you sent me another message. You're like, yeah, so this is really a product of its time.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And it is. So 1980, like I said,
Probably
James Brolin, Cliff Gorman plays Gus Soltic. We've got, who else we got in here? Richard Castellano as Lieutenant Tonelli.
Yep.
Probably my favorite part of this movie, honestly, was Lieutenant Tonelli.
He's kind of, if James Brolin is the charm, Tonelli is the heart of the movie.
No, he really
I
is.
think.
But
we get some good early roles for people in this movie too.
Yeah. So a few people that popped up that I was familiar with, because Richard Castellano, don't really know that well. Cliff Gorman, I know I've seen in a few things.
There's a number of, I've seen this person before. Yeah. I hadn't, another movie I pitched, I watched a movie about musicals that Cliff Gorman was in. And it's a movie that I don't know that, should I just say what it was? I mean, All That Jazz. I mentioned that before. But,
we've talked about it.
Yeah. I guess he was in that, but so I had seen him before. I recognized him. Obviously, he's got a pretty distinct look.
Yeah.
But it was just like scrolling through his credits. I'm like, I don't know any of these. Like, where have I seen him? Like,
It's one of those, I've seen him, and then you look and it's like he did bit parts on like Murder, She Wrote, and he was in a bunch of stuff. So I've seen his face, but I don't know him that well. But the faces that I did know were Mandy Patinkin shows up in a very early role as a cabbie.
Dated early role.
Yes. But he's wonderful because it's Mandy Patinkin. Dan Hedaya, who I love, is Sergeant Burns. I love Dan Hedaya. I hate Sergeant Burns with a fiery passion.
Gosh. Yeah.
We're going to get to that.
I think this is pre-Blood Simple as well.
It is. It's pre-Blood Simple. It's pre-Running Scared, which is the first movie that pops into my head when I see his name or see his face.
Which is also funny because those are both movies that I was on.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover with other movies that we've done.
And then Julie Carmen as well as Maria.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who I love her in The Mouth of Madness. And again, that's the movie I think of when I hear the name Julie Carmen. She's done a lot of other things, including another movie that came out the same year as this, directed by John Cassavetes, called Gloria, which I think was kind of a bigger one for her. But yeah, so it was an interesting cast, and I sat down to start watching this. And the movie itself, it's interesting because it is very much of its time. It's that late 70s. So it was shot in 78, and then it sat for a little while. And I did read that part of the reason that it sat for a while was Norman Levy was the head of Columbia Pictures, and then he left Columbia Pictures, and he went somewhere else, and he had been integral in getting this movie made because this is based on a novel, which I did not know.
Correct. I started to watch one of the commentary tracks, and it went through some of the changes they made for the movie, but it made it a lot better, I think. But it, the novel goes in a lot more. I think this is the distilled version of the story, I think.
Yeah, and it feels like if it's based on a novel, I can see where a lot of these little like subplots and smaller area things could get fleshed out. But based on a novel from 1975, Norman Levy was a big part of getting the rights and getting that made, and then he left Columbia and went somewhere else. I think it was, I don't remember where he went, but basically Columbia didn't put a lot of time or effort into the marketing of this movie, and so it didn't come out until 1980. Yeah. And just kind of came and went. Like, it was made for $6 million. It made almost nothing in the box office because it wasn't widely distributed. It was well liked, and I can see critics at the time liking this movie because this feels, it's almost a decade after, but it feels like The French Connection and that style of movie. Yeah.
So, it doesn't have like it's funny because it is, I've heard a lot of people that have talked about the movie have referenced it as it's not like the opening chase sequence because the entire movie is a chase sequence effectively. Mm-hmm. I had recently rewatched 1917 on 4K, and I was just like, oh, this is very similar to that too. It just keeps moving forward. But it sorry, I just lost my train of thought there with 1917.
But no, it does.
Oh, yeah. So it just keeps moving forward, but it doesn't. I saw that it was described as like a thriller, and I'm like, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I don't think I felt like there were a couple of moments where I was like, are they going where I think they're going? And then they always like kind of pulled it back in a little bit, but it never like made me like edge of my seat what's going to happen. It's more just like spectacle.
It is. It's a thriller, again, in the vein of something like The French Connection, which is thriller with a little action-oriented moments in there, and it keeps the pace moving forward. It's not helped by the title. I don't think Night of the Juggler does it any favors because
a couple of reasons.
I get where the title came from, except that there's two problems with that. Number one, it's called Night of the Juggler, and it takes place during the day.
Mostly, yeah.
There's the last few minutes of it are at night, and that's basically it. But also, the Gus Soltic is never referred to as the juggler except by himself once, and that's it. And
Yeah.
it's not really a term that has any kind of cultural meaning that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, also like juggler isn't really a menacing.
No, it also isn't.
And the content in the original book, he is a like serial killer. I guess it's like on the 15th of each month he kills somebody, or on the 15th of a specific. I don't know what it was. I didn't get all the details. I haven't read the book, but he became known as the juggler as a serial killer in that. And in this, it's more real estate based, which I think parallels well with the rich father.
Yep.
And like there's a lot of like rewatching it again today. Like the script on this is very well constructed, which is kind of funny because they had two different directors on this movie. They had like most of it shot, and then they had a new guy come in. But it just flows. It just keeps the momentum keeps going, and without much music, which usually carries a lot of other movies.
And that is,
which is like impressive.
Yep. That made it very much feel like a 70s film, because it's a lot of diegetic sound of New York City without a lot of music. Again, reminded me of moments of Jaws, 3 Days of the Condor,
which we did as well.
Yeah, that kind of stuff where it's just the sounds of this. And there is a sound and rhythm to a city. So I get it. And it's a wonderful kind of backdrop, but it does put you in a very different mindset when you're watching a movie with that as opposed to a score, right? Because the moments in Jaws that have the score inform you how to feel in that moment. And then there's parts of Jaws where it's like people walking around talking, and it's that 70s overlapping dialogue, and there's the background din is very loud and almost to the point of being distracting. In fact, I could see people being distracted by it. So it's a very interesting kind of stylistic choice. And you mentioned the two directors, so I want to touch on that real quick. Sidney J. Furie started directing this in 1978, and he's done a lot. You've seen
and he has
stuff.
a specific style of directing, I believe.
Yeah.
Like he does a lot of action-y chase kind of stuff.
Yep.
I think.
And he directed for a few weeks, and there were varying accounts. I don't know what the commentary track said about this, but there were varying accounts that I found that talked about James Brolin, and I'm going to really try hard not to say Josh.
It's hard.
But it's hard.
It's hard to not. Yeah.
But I find James Brolin to be very compelling on screen. So.
Oh, absolutely.
But James Brolin injured his foot while filming one of the scenes, so they had to pause production for a little while. And there were some things I read that said like there were erroneous doctors' reports of him breaking his foot, and a lot of them were like, hey, he broke his foot. They had to wait for a little while, and during that time, Sidney Furie left, and there was a lawsuit about him walking out on a contract. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's all sorts of stories, but basically he left, and Robert Butler came in, and Robert Butler feels to me, looking at his track record, as he's that working director. He's the guy that you bring in because he can get things done, and he can get them done on time, because he had a lot of television series and TV movie credits. Not a lot of feature films, but he had a few. But that feels like that director that you can count on him to get it done.
Yeah, he went on to, was it him or was it Levy that went on to Hill Street Blues and all that?
I think it was Levy.
Okay.
But like
I know this was before that, and it was like kind of fed into like that stuff coming about. It was a very trendy, gritty, like I haven't seen a lot of it, but just like the people in the city, and this is very much of that same, design.
Basically from 1960 until 1997 or so, Robert Butler has 100 directing credits. So he worked a lot, and it's a lot of TV series episodes, a couple episodes here and there, but that's a working director. So that is somebody who maybe isn't the auteur, right? He's not a Spielberg, he's not an Aronofsky, he's not that kind of director, but he is reliable and he gets things done. And to have your first director walk out, bring in somebody who's going to get it done, I think it worked here, because I enjoyed this movie. there are things that I would have probably tightened up, because you mentioned how the script is very well constructed, but it is there's a few things I would change to kind of tighten the story up, especially with it taking place in a single day. So the story is essentially this guy, Gus Soltic, kidnaps a young girl. He's got it in his sights to kidnap this young girl whose dad is a real estate magnate, right? Rich guy in New York buying up stuff. Gus Soltic is this guy who, I guess his family owned a building or a few buildings in the South Bronx, but now it was all run down and it was getting bought up cheap.
Late 70s, there's elements of it in the Soltic scenes, like the newspapers that are just like plastered to the walls for no reason. But I didn't know about all this stuff because I was born after this movie came out, as per you. But yeah, Gerald Ford denying financial assistance to New York City, basically telling them that they're on their own, and gentrification was a thing. And so teeing that up. So yeah, Gus Soltic's family owned a bunch of buildings in this area, and they basically were devalued and demolished, and he still owns that area. They were
run down, the neighborhoods got bad.
Yeah. And other people profited.
Yep, other people profited. So his plan in this movie was to kidnap that guy's daughter on her way to school, and then ransom her for $1 million, which, by the way, I did the calculation for inflation adjustment, and it's roughly $4.5 million. Which doesn't sound like a lot by today's standards, but that's only adjusted for inflation. It's probably $1 million in 1978 is a lot more money than $4.5 million today. Relative.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yeah.
But that's his plan. Well, meanwhile, you've got Sean Boyd, who is a truck driver, and I do very much like how we meet him in the beginning of the movie as just this blue-collar truck driver, right? He drives his truck. I never want to drive a truck in a city like New York, ever. I want no part of that whatsoever. But he's driving his truck, parks it, he gets paid. That's a fun scene where he gets out of the truck and a couple of guys are like, hey, where's that $3 you owe me from cards? And, you know, the whole opening, like 10 minutes of this movie is just living in this world for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're just like sinking into it a little bit, letting the temperature, you're settling in. And I mean, just like, and I think not to jump ahead too far, but I think it really culminizes with Tonelli coming up, and you probably have an audio clip of it, but I don't know what clips you've already pulled. There's a fair amount that you probably shouldn't, but there's a lot that you probably could have too.
I got a lot, and I definitely skipped quite a few.
Yeah. There's a lot there would be so good if it wasn't for one word. But yeah, no, when Tonelli comes up and basically says it's going to be another goddamn New York day, and it's like that's kind of like your prologue of like introduce your characters and away we go. But yeah, everything James Brolin says is character development. Like even like the script in this is really well done, but like I love that he's like, oh, I gotta get paid, I gotta get my check, and then 2 seconds later he's getting the cab and he's like, keep the change, I'm rich.
Yeah.
And it's
I love that.
But it's like everything he says is like dripping with charm, and I'm like, how do you not just love this guy?
Yeah. 80 to 90% of James Brolin's character in this movie I love. There's one moment I don't, but I also get it from a story aspect. But like, I love this opening of just the sounds of the city and people moving around and cars driving, and he's getting a hot dog, and
everybody's out running in the morning, and
everybody's running through the park. Soltic is doing his thing. I love the opening of Soltic in the diner. I hated the fact that he wasted all that food, but I love that opening.
Yeah.
It reminded me him sitting there with a little tape player, little radio, and the one earbud connected to it made me think of my grandfather, because my grandfather had one of those exact earbuds, and he would have it in while he slept. Like he listened to the radio when he went to sleep, and that was always in. And I just remember it being in their house. But like this whole opening was great, and then we meet Boyd, and we meet Lieutenant Tonelli. So we meet all our characters in the city doing their thing, and it's a wonderful opening.
It's very much where they're at now and
Yes.
not going into what's brought them to where they are currently.
Mm-hmm.
Except Tonelli, you hear right off the bat, like his daughter is getting married, but that's like the only character background you really get for him.
Yeah. But I love that introduction because all we know about Sean at this point is that he's a truck driver.
Yeah.
And then he gets home and it's his daughter's birthday. So he surprises her, gets her up and then says, all right, I'll let's get to school. She's got summer school. And taking her to school. And then we're getting the overlapping story because at the same time we're learning more and more about Soltic, who we don't know his name yet. Just this guy. And he goes somewhere, changes clothes out of like the work uniform he's in into a shirt. I love the scene of him like jogging with people and then stopping by the cars and like he's waiting. And at first I'm like, what is it? This is weird. Like he's being extra weird. He's already been weird so far in the movie, but he's being extra weird.
Weird from frame one.
Yes. And then you realize, it's because he's waiting for an opportunity to jump into one of the cars.
Yeah.
And this also tells you when this movie was made because there's nothing electronic on any of these cars, so it's super easy to steal one. He's got that tool that like basically ratchets out the key for the ignition.
Pop the lock right off and just
so he can just
in,
put a screwdriver in and start the car. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So
this is also, we'll get into but this is also again, growing up in the 80s, not really a thing that we didn't ever not know, but this was pre stranger danger and like that kind of element. So like as bad as New York City was at the time, I guess, but like that kind of stuff, like this is pre John Walsh, this is or Adam Walsh, I guess. But this is kidnapping was like kind of a thing that was just starting to come to the surface, at this time. So it wasn't something people were aware of or looking for. People don't fight back. It's just kind of what's going on?
Yeah, and you think about it through the lens of today. If Sean Boyd goes all the way to the school with his daughter, this movie doesn't happen, right? But it's because he just got
lets
off
her
the
stay
road.
home for her birthday.
Yeah, but he just
the
got
movie
off
happens
the
just
road.
not with him and her.
Correct. Well, it does, but it happens in a different way because the funny thing about it, and I picked up on it right away, is, oh no, she's dressed like her and the girl whose house Soltic called, they're dressed the same.
Yes. We haven't covered that point yet, I don't think.
No,
they're
we
both
have
on their
not,
way to their summer schools. They are both going through the same park and at the same time. And it's,
and they're both like 13, 14 years old, dark curly hair, and they're wearing overalls. So that's what this guy Soltic is looking for, is a girl that age with dark curly hair wearing overalls. Like that, somehow he knows that.
I think he saw her leaving the
that's
building.
what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so that's the thing. So, and it's like it's one of these things where like you watch a movie and you're like, oh wow, that was great, I understood it. And then like when I've rewatched it, I'm like, oh, the things are falling into place. Like he steals the car and he parks it there, so it's his escape when he gets her. So he's watching her walking out of her building, and then he's along the park waiting for her to come through. So he knew what she was wearing based off that. But then I can't think of her name, but Boyd's daughter, she was wearing the same thing. So.
And again, like they're halfway there, and then Boyd is like, all right, well, I'm going to go back home and go to bed because he's just getting off the road. And she tells him, go home.
She tells him, you're a good dad. You should get some sleep. And then, which also is a kicker to this, the day he's going to have, and he's exhausted already.
Right? Yeah. And, it's her birthday, and he got her tickets to the ballet. I love that moment. All the stuff with James Brolin and the girl that plays his daughter, which apparently this was only like one of 2 movies she was in. Abby Bluestone playing Kathy.
Kathy, that's right, yeah.
Their chemistry, father and daughter, in these opening scenes was wonderful. I loved it. I absolutely bought into it. Made me like Sean as a character because he just seemed like this kind of great dad, and he's wanting to do things for his daughter. The whole thing of the ballet tickets versus Yankee game, and like you got to go to school, all of this.
getting her hot dogs for her birthday, and she's like, I can't eat those. They're not on my diet. And then telling her, hey, you can't eat those. You're on a diet. Like,
Yep.
The back and forth playfulness. It's just, how do you not just like love these guys?
So she says, well, go home and get some sleep. I'll walk the rest of the way to school. He's like, cool. And he starts walking away, and he hears her get nabbed.
Immediately.
And then that sets us off on our first chase. And this chase, I will say, had me the whole way through.
This is a good opener, yeah.
Because like this grabs you right away. So we've had 10-ish minutes, 10, 12 minutes of like settle into the world. Here we are in New York. We meet our main players. We get a little bit of this, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's a chase scene, and it doesn't stop for like 10 minutes. It just goes and goes and goes, and it's him chasing on foot and the car driving, and like Sothic gets stuck in traffic because, of course, it's New York and you're in a park and there's nowhere to go. And it just keeps going. And this is where we meet Mandy Patinkin's character during this one, who killed me. He just cracked me up the whole time.
I didn't see his name in the credits, and then when it came up, I'm like, holy, wait, what?
Right? It's the voice he's doing as he's credited as Alessandro the cabbie. But you never get his name. But the voice he's doing is very proto Inigo Montoya.
Yes, I've heard some people say it's the same. I'm like, it's not the same.
No.
It's very fast, but it is a Jewish white man playing a Puerto Rican. So
these things happen a lot. I mean,
they kept him in the cab a lot to make the color of the face not as visible, I guess.
Yes, it is also, it's a product of the time. And I've had this conversation a lot. Like, if you talk to Mandy Patinkin today, he would say, I wouldn't do that character as Puerto Rican now. Or if it was being cast as a Puerto Rican character, I wouldn't do that. But at the time, he's a working actor. He needs a job. They say, hey, can you do a Puerto Rican-ish accent? And he says, yes, I can. There you go. It's very similar to me to like Fisher Stevens in Short Circuit has gone on record saying, look, the character of Ben, I would not do today. But he did at the time because they asked him if he could do it, and he said yes. And he did his research, and he spent time with a family. He spent time with an Indian family before Short Circuit, too, to really like hone in the voice.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those where he wouldn't do it today, but he was working at the time. I don't begrudge him that.
Yeah. Well, the difference between those two, I would say, though, is Short Circuit. I don't know that Fisher Stevens being Indian was integral to the plot of the story. Whereas in this, people being African American, Puerto Rican, etc., is an integral element. So they very much would have been casting for those actors and actresses, that talent. But yeah, and again, it wasn't the era. Like he came from Mandy does a lot of stage stuff still, but he's played other types of people as other roles in stage productions too. So again, it's I think the commitment, the being committed to film, like if you were to do this on, I mean, like look at not Hail Mary, Oh Mary, the Cole Escola, the Escola play, like. If that was a film, I think people would have a piece that they could criticize. Like we're all seeing the same thing and sharing it. So if it was a stage production, it happens. The people that were there, but the permanence of the film, like basically leaves the conversation open.
It does. And also too, like it's a time capsule. It's the
era. It's a good reflection.
It is a reflection. It's the era of filmmaking in New York City. If they put out a casting call, the people that show up are the people that show up. And there may not be that many Hispanic or Puerto Rican actors doing a lot of work in New York City at the time either. I don't know. So I don't want to.
You also use a lot more non-white talent in the later third of the movie.
They do. Yes.
So if they've filled all those roles, like you don't want to like bring somebody back for like, the beginning of the movie. I don't know.
But overall, like, I don't view this necessarily as problematic so much as like the way it would be done today would be different than it is then. But that's our eras of filmmaking, right?
Yeah.
So
it's very much, I think one of the, so I did message you that there are the two versions of this that I bought have different commentary tracks, and one of them literally just sounded like two old men looking up IMDb while they were watching it. So it's like, you're not even talking about the movie. They're like, oh, he was in these other movies. It was like, what? But they were talking about how crap, I keep doing this. I start off on a tangent and then I lose my train of thought.
Mandy?
No, I don't. Yeah, continue. Go ahead. Go ahead. It might come back to me.
But either way, like, Mandy Patinkin has such a great screen presence, and this character is just a mile a minute, and he's super fun. And I captured some of his audio. I'm going to play in a little bit. But
like
it's great.
Many people, he's in and out. Like,
yeah,
then people don't stick around in this movie. Like they're in for and then they move on. It's kind of a journey movie throughout New York,
which is kind of cool in a way. Like I like how we basically have James Brolin, Cliff Gorman, and Richard Castellano are throughout the movie, and then everyone else comes and goes. Comes into the movie, goes out of the movie. So it's Mandy Patinkin here, and then after this scene, I think at the end of it is when because it ends with like an accident.
Yep.
And then Sean gets arrested. And so he's taken to the hospital. And here's where I think maybe during that opening chase scene is probably when James Brolin got injured.
Yeah. Well, so to touch back to that, one of the tracks, this isn't what I was going to say a minute ago, but he broke his foot.
Yeah.
I believe he broke his foot while they were filming, and I think Levy said just put it in a cast, and there was some issues with that, obviously. But then he goes to the hospital, he gets arrested, he gets looked at, he gets a cane, they give him crutches for a second, he gets a cane, and it's like, okay, so he did kind of work through it. But yeah, I believe Levy leaving and the other guy coming in was right around that leg incident.
It was kind of all right in there. The funny thing is they make a mention of, and he's kind of hobbling in the hospital, and then for the rest of the movie, he's fine. Once he leaves the hospital, the adrenaline kicks in, and for the rest of the day, he's not hurting. I bet you anything, funny. The next morning he wakes up and that dude can't walk.
Oh,
because
I'm sure they have to carry him home probably. Well, that's why there's the daughter and the other person at the end of the movie. They have to, the two of them have to carry him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's this. So at the hospital,
so the cane. So yeah, I was gonna say, it's funny looking back at it. The things that people put into motion that either set things up for later or come around to bite them later on.
Oh yeah,
he's like, oh, I can't get around on these. At least get me a cane. And then he's trying to sneak out of there. And that's when he gets past Tonelli, he gets past people, doesn't know who they are, and then the nurse, oh, Mr. Boyd, and it's like, you were just, and the same with the chase, with the intro, the car scene and stuff. Everything is like, just as you turn around, the thing happens, and just as you reach the car, the light turns green, and just as it's like the editing and the pacing, it just keeps going, and everything great. Tees you up to the next moment, and then just moves you right on to the next. So.
And in that opening chase, that first chase scene, the stunt work of the guy hanging off the car driving down the street was awesome. I loved that. I'm
pretty sure it wasn't my first viewing, but my second viewing, I was like, oh yeah, James Brolin comes up, smashes, like he's able to get up to the car. His daughter is in. The door isn't even locked as far as I know. He takes a bat and he like hits the windshield twice. Low on the passenger side and a little higher and off a little bit on the driver's side. And I'm like, was this blocking for stunt work? Did they do that? Because they're not going to put the girl in the car while they're driving like this. And they're not going to have James. I mean, I believe James did a lot of his own work, obviously the close-up work, but some of the wider shots, maybe it wasn't him. I'm not sure.
I'm almost certain they wouldn't have put James Brolin on the side of that car driving down the street, which... It's all filmed in New York City, and I love that because this is some insane driving down the street, and I'm pretty certain they actually got permits to shoot this, unlike The French Connection.
I believe there were some extras that were like part of the production, but obviously it's New York. If you're just out, you're part of that blanket whatever license. But I do believe there were some areas that it was not properly communicated. So some of the reactions are very accurate.
I always love stuff like
Authentic.
that in especially 70s movies. That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why the ending of The French Connection to me is so fascinating, because Bill Friedkin was just like, we're just going to shoot it and we're going to drive down the street at 70 miles an hour. And like, they're not stunt drivers in that
Yeah.
scene.
You
except
can't
for
fake
the,
it.
yeah. But
Well, it's very Grindhouse,
it is.
which I'm talking like Death Proof specifically, but this was that era as well. It's
Mhm.
very, we're just putting stuff on film and seeing what sticks, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so Brolin gets arrested and taken to the hospital, and I love the interaction with him and the cop, because now we learn,
Dan
he
Hedaya,
used to be a cop,
hmm
which is great to get 20 minutes into the movie and then reveal this bit of character work about him, right? This guy's daughter
Yeah.
was taken. Oh, he used to be a cop. So now we get some antagonistic work with the police force because he's a former cop. But they looked him up, right? Tonelli's like, yeah, I looked you up, and you were, when they cut the budgets, you were one of the ones to get laid off. So it immediately puts him in like a certain light for Lieutenant Tonelli. That's wonderful. They take him downtown, they book him, and that's where we meet Sergeant Barnes, who I love Dan Hedaya, and the second he sees Boyd come in, he gets the crazy eyes.
Dan Hedaya is the cure for the second act slump in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just picks that up. If he's on screen, you're just glued to it, and you're just watching, and you're like, I can't believe what's happening, and this is ridiculous, and I love it.
I couldn't believe what's happening, because like, there's so much of this movie that feels like if people would just take a breath and communicate,
Oh, yeah.
things would be fine. But they don't do that here. And Hedaya in this, as Sergeant Barnes, is so laser focused on he is just going to get Boyd. He doesn't care about anything else, to the point where I'm like, okay, I know we're going for corrupt cops and whatnot here, but it's also like Boyd does eventually say, this guy's got my daughter, and Barnes doesn't hear that, does not care. Taking him into the interrogation room and getting ready to beat him up, like all of this stuff was amazing. But it's just, you're right. It's that second act slump could have been a lot worse. Hedaya's character makes it work.
We're not even into the second act yet, but this is like just setting it up for it. But we did skip over something though. I don't know if we're going like scene by scene, but in the car chase sequence, Gus and Kathy are running. They crash or whatever. They get out of the car and they're running, and they're going by the porno district.
Oh yeah.
And during that scene, he ends up stabbing a guy, dropping something, and a woman from one of the porno theaters comes out and picks it up.
Yes.
And Boyd sees that before he is then arrested.
That's a good point. That's
his
important.
His only clue to like, the police aren't going to help me, and now I basically have to fight my way out of this police station, which very conveniently his ex-wife pulls up right at that moment because Tonelli called her to come pick him up, I guess.
Amazingly.
She pulls up right as he's walking out the door. It's
I love
very movie.
I love the plot convenience of that. And that's Linda Miller playing Barbara Boyd, his ex-wife. For me, honestly, the ex-wife stuff is the weakest thing in the movie, and you could have cut that and reworked it. There's a few things, like we have our main antagonist is Gus Soltic, but we have secondary antagonists of Sergeant Barnes, and then later on the Puerto Rican street thugs in the Bronx that don't like him, that don't like Boyd. But then we have this moment with Barbara who pulls up as Sean is walking out. And of course, she's upset because she knows now that their daughter's been kidnapped and he's trying to talk to her. The thing I didn't like about this exchange is it doesn't really do anything for the story.
It's subtle, and I think it overstays its welcome, but it goes from, at the beginning, he's not going to let Kathy stay home from school for her birthday, but he's like, we got the whole weekend ahead of us. And then she tells him, oh, I'm going to mom's for a dinner. And it becomes this, mom wants me to move to Connecticut with her and her new husband, and it's safer there. And again, like you were saying, like, I never once got any dynamic or any sense that there was a conflict between Kathy and Sean. But she's like, yeah, I don't want to live with mom. I want to live here in the city. It's like, the city's dangerous. I get that, obviously. So that kind of tees up for this interaction, but it is a little excessive. And like, nobody changes position. She still is upset, and he is still, the only like relief to the scene is after he yells at her, he turns back and he says, I'm going to find her. Like, he's like, I'm going to make this work. But it's purely just like background of the family stuff. And then she's not even in the rest of the movie. She's gone after that. So
I think had Barbara been more of a character throughout the movie or something along those lines, maybe. But my issue with it was it doesn't move the plot along any.
Yeah.
And you could cut that moment out, all of that out of the movie, and it makes no difference whatsoever to Sean or his quest to get his daughter back. All it does is kind of give us a woman character who goes from being a bit of, she's characterized like a shrew to a blubbering, hysterical basket case on a dime. And I didn't like that because it just, Barbara to me just wasn't utilized well. And it could have been an interesting character, right? It could have been well done in that it's the mother and it's his ex-wife and they obviously don't get along.
Yeah, the perception of the person that does not like the city and wants and has an opportunity to go elsewhere. And I mean, Saltig, it ties into stuff that Saltig gets into later on. It's like, oh yeah, once we get money, then we can get to a better place. And it's like, yeah, but you had buildings and you had money, and then things happened. And so the mother is very much, oh, I found somebody else because that's part of their argument with Boyd, with Sean. It's like, oh, so everybody, you couldn't take a little money. Everybody takes a little money. She was like, you could have done that and we would have been fine and we could have been comfortable. And he's basically, I'm not going to go against my moral compass for financial benefit and comfort.
And that was
the through line of it.
Because
it's a long way to get to that.
Right. Because we've just learned that, when Sean was a cop, he knew about Barnes taking money and he basically
and
outed him.
Other cops too.
Yeah, and other cops. So it serves the purpose of giving us the moral compass for Sean, but it also was a scene that made me not like Sean because of the way he treated Barbara.
Yeah.
And so, again, I would have cut that out and found some other convenience for him to get away from the police station or rework that scene a little. But that's just me. Overall, it's fine. But Sean gets out of there, and now he's got to go. He goes to 42nd Street in the porno district to find, because that's his one lead.
Yep.
There was a moment here. So Barnes is going after him. The one thing I didn't know was how, I don't remember, maybe you saw it in a second watch, I don't remember a moment where Sergeant Barnes knew anything about him going to 42nd Street.
So while they're in the room, scuffling before the actual full fight starts, there's a lot of people talking over each other in this movie. And so it's very much whoever you're looking at is kind of who you can pick up on. But yeah, as Barnes is he directly mentions that you had to tell my wife about the Puerto Rican prostitute that I was pressuring or something. I don't know. There was he was getting money off somebody, and then it destroyed his family basically. And Boyd is like, what did she make you sleep on the couch for a couple of weeks or whatever? And it's just like, no, the actions that you did, even though they were good and right, devastated Barnes's life. So okay, instant motivation. He wants to kill you.
Sure.
While he's explaining that, Boyd is, to his credit, his dialogue, I'm glad that he has all of his dialogue on his own, because all of his dialogue with other people in scenes you can't make out, but it's very consistent. It's just, hey, look, I gotta get my daughter, he's got my girl, I gotta get to this place. He's starting to pull the paper out.
Okay.
Or no, he's starting to pull something. He's like, yeah, it was on the, he dropped something, and so he mentions it, and then ends the fight by really giving it to Barnes.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
no, he straight
exiting.
punched that dude in the dick like
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
times. Okay, so I just
While
missed
this is
that.
happening, Tonelli is also Soltic has called the what's the name of the rich family? I can't, it begins with a C.
Oh yeah, Clayton.
Clayton, that's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, like Clary Clayton. No. Anyway, yeah, Soltic has called Soltic called the Clayton house at the beginning of the movie to verify that the girl was going to school that day. It's summer. It's summer school, so it's a summer session. It's not standard. He calls back after he has Kathy and threatens them, like, if you ever want to see your daughter again. We should probably talk about the actual kidnapping in the kidnap movie.
Maybe a
But
little bit.
he calls them, and they're like, "What? What are you talking?" Like they don't verbally say like, "What do you mean?" But it sets up Soltic's key flaw. He's so ingrained in his own perception of things, in his own definition and understanding of things, that he will not allow outside influence to it. When
Yeah.
Kathy tells him, "No, that's not who I am. My dad's not rich," he will not believe her. When he calls the family, like, he won't believe them. Like, they try to give any type of resistance, and he's just like, "Yeah, I've had enough of your games." Like, he's so
Yeah.
at this point they've called Tonelli in to look into it.
Yeah,
So
because Tonelli is major crimes, right? So
Yeah.
they're going to call him in. So he's been at the Clayton house. They've set up a phone tap.
Yeah,
I do
while
like
Sean's on his way over to the porno theater.
And I do like that because there is a lot of miscommunication throughout this movie, and that is a very easy, tropey way to get conflict. But here it does work in that you're right. Soltic is so laser focused on his plan that he doesn't listen to anyone else. So when he calls the house and he says, "Hey, your daughter, da 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 da, I want $1 million," and the mom looks over and her daughter is sitting right there. Now he thinks he's got the daughter. Mom thinks he's going to take the daughter.
Right.
And so that is a miscommunication that works.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel forced.
And you're a rich family, so like that's a thing you're probably more aware of than like general public. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that worked out. And I do love all the stuff with Kathy being like, no, my dad doesn't have any money, because she is trying to talk to him, and Soltic just doesn't want to listen.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, the rich get richer, the poor get poor. And there is this social commentary going on and this socioeconomic thing. And he does use language that I don't love, but it is of the time. And I get it. And it's also quick shorthand for just Cliff Gorman playing this character the way that you want, which is you don't want to like Soltic. And so
you can sympathize with him at points. You can sympathize with him.
You can, but he has gone so far around the bend now.
Yeah. There's like a sadness to him because again, the key ethnic terms that he uses of the era, you find like as you watch the movie, it's like ingrained in him. It's never just one race. It's always two, and it's always in the same order. It's like it's become like a motto almost. It's like, and it's that's like people that have pausing before I say something stupid. I think it as a character, if you want to portray somebody that is potentially not balanced mentally, having them repeat the same things over and over again, muttering to themselves, that would give that impression.
It would, and it's also like a symptom of systemic racism. In
that too,
Soltic
doesn't even realize he's saying it. He's just passing it along. Yeah,
he's just using the terms he has always used that is normal for him, but also it's a way for him to dehumanize these groups of people that have quote unquote ruined his life.
Yeah,
and so like there's a moment where Kathy tries to run when they get to the South Bronx and they get to his building, and then she turns around and runs. And she hides, and there's the old wino that's like squatting in the building. And Soltic ends up showing up and stabbing that guy. And you can tell in that moment, like he doesn't view this old wino as like a person. He's another part of the problem around his neighborhood that he's fixing, that he's gonna fix, and this $1 million he's gonna get is gonna get him out of here and solve all his problems.
Yeah. And as you get to the end of the movie, you really start to see that he's kind of just grasping at the last hints of anything of like, if I get this, things will be fine. If you do this, everything will be fine. If this one thing, and it's like everything's running out, man. Like it's gone. There's nothing left. And yeah.
And
but I don't know if you want to pace this up. I said we started late, but I don't.
We're good. But like
Okay.
as we were,
it's a lot to talk about.
It is, and we got to this kind of second act area at the live nude theater.
Yeah, which is an interesting and fun scene, but yeah, it's not like I don't know. Would you say it's exploitative, or would you say it's like a positive? I don't know. It's like sex positive because
it is in that it's just part of the world. It's part of New York City at the time. There's a little bit of exploitation cinema in it, but also like all of the characters, especially the dancers working, all have the agency and they kind of run things. And when Sean tries to talk to them, and one of them's like, well, you just go over and talk to her on your own. And so he ends up just walking back in there and talk, and like, it doesn't go well for him because of that. Right. Yeah. So
understandably,
yeah,
but yeah,
but when the scene started and as it was going, I thought this seems really superfluous. And this seems like just, we're going to put this in here so it's titillating and so we can get some nudity in it and get our R rating. But as the scene progressed, I realized, no, this actually works, and it works well.
Yeah.
And I liked how it ended, which was the woman that picked up the dog tags on the street out there, which that was a scene.
Tags.
Yes. Which that was a scene that was really crazy to me in that opening chase where he runs up and some guy's trying to talk to him and he just stabs him and runs in broad daylight.
It's very blink and you miss it.
But the woman picked those up, and then basically as that scene unfolds with Sean, because he's trying, like
which we should set some context. I mean, I don't know if people are going to go watch this after this, but it's a very interesting, fun scene because it's a porno theater. He goes in, asks where the girl is, and the woman, adult woman, not his daughter. But ask where she is, and the guy tells him like they're all downstairs, but you got to pay if you want to go down there. And it's basically like a room that these 3 or 4 women are dancing in naked, and there are booths around it, and you pay a quarter and the window goes up and you can talk to them on a phone, and then it goes down after a certain amount of time.
Yep.
And then I thought it was funny at first because every time he comes out of one of the booths or goes into one, there's like an older man in like a business suit that's like right behind him, and I'm always like, oh, did he just cut in front of that guy?
Yeah, he
like
keeps doing
every
that.
time. But then I realized I think he works there. I think he's trying to verify that there isn't somebody in the room, and I think he's checking them as people are coming and going.
That could be, but I like
there's a lot
him
of
just like
structure
in
in
front
that
of
place. Yeah, it's funny that way, but I think it is a safe. They feel safe in that environment, but it's a good tense, funny moment because he's trying to get information from these 3 individual people, and it's a limited time. It's worth watching if nudity is not something that bothers you. Because again, it's not like sexual. It's a porno theater, but it's not like sexualized in a sense.
It's interesting.
It's weird.
It
it's
is,
hard to say
but
it's
also
not sexualized, but
I love it because like he's trying to get the information, so he keeps talking, and the women that are dancing are talking back to him, but they are playing their part, and they're trying to get their spiel across. And it's a situation again where wording is important because he keeps saying girl or little girl.
He took my baby. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
another
and
baby.
it's like
or,
if you just say daughter. If you just use the word daughter, somebody might actually pay attention. But I liked how it all played out because he talks to one woman, and then, the door goes down. And then the next woman comes over, and while he's talking to her, he sees the woman that he saw earlier. And he's like, it's her. And he keeps pointing at her. And then, another time, same thing. And she says, well, just talk to her. So he goes around to the other booth, talks to that woman who sort of understands what's going on, but kind of brushes him off until basically when he goes in there to try to talk to her, and then the bouncers come in and they beat the crap out of him and throw him through a wall and all that kind of stuff. she comes out at the end of it to give him the thing that she found. And I liked that because it's New York, and there's so much of this movie that is like very New York in, it's not happening to me, I'm just going to ignore it. And, that's happening over there. And this woman sees enough out of this to know that this is really important to him and brings that out to him.
Yeah.
So I liked that.
It's weird. For as much like tension and stuff, there is like the underlying New York like community aspect of it. Like, you know what, we're gonna ultimately we're gonna try to support our own, if but like on our terms, like kind of thing.
And
but,
so then,
yeah. Did you look up who she is?
I did not.
So one of the commentary tracks, I don't remember her name, but she was an adult film actress. I think she also did some other minor roles, but she ended up putting herself through, I think, med school and becoming a doctor.
Nice.
I'm not 100% sure on this, and then stayed in the industry, like helping educate workers on proper techniques and ways to like watch for, like basically how to be healthy within the adult industry. Good. So she basically she kind of was like a somewhat prominent figure. And as they went into the porno theater, there's a blonde lady that's like talking on a microphone, and she was like the key porn star of the time, I believe it. So she was a bit role in that, but
nice. I actually like that. I like that story of her going to medical school and kind of like, giving back, paying it forward a little bit in that way. That's really cool.
Yeah. It fits with her character too, because it's like, this is happening, but like there's more going on than this right now in front of you. Yeah.
And so then Sean leaves the theater, and Sergeant Barnes is on his way down there.
He has the tags for Soltig's dog.
Yes. So he has these tags for the dog. He leaves the theater. Sergeant Barnes is on his way down because he knows that's where he's going. And here's where we get our second chase. And this chase is insane because Barnes shows up, shotgun in hand, and is chasing Boyd down the street, just firing the shotgun off. Like,
he sold his eyelids for a shotgun. He's just like running down the street, fire. Like, he does yell "get down" a few times, but he's just going at it.
No, he's got the crazy eyes, and he is just firing a shotgun at this dude running down the streets of New York in broad daylight. Does not care. It is both the most ridiculous and amazing thing at the same time because it's such a movie moment.
Yeah, it's a little comical because it is. Like the edit, like if it was made today, it would be more faster paced edits and stuff. But like there's moments where like you see Barnes like lining up a shotgun shot, and then it cuts to James Brolin. I'm gonna better lean down behind this truck, and then cuts back to Barnes shooting, and it's like you wait for him to get all the way out of view, and then like okay. But it works. It's a fun, and it keeps you moving. And again, it's like he got to the place, he got the thing he needed. Next chapter, move on to. Yeah, so then he's being chased by Barnes.
Yep, he's being chased by Barnes, and it goes for a little while. And I do like that the end of it, and Astigma brings it up in the chat, but I love the end of the chase. Brolin, Boyd gets away, and the other cops, like uniformed policemen, show up.
Oh, yeah.
And stop Barnes, and they're calling him out on it. Like, dude, I don't care who you are. You can't be doing this in the middle of the street. And Barnes is so past the point of no return that he does not care anymore. All he sees is Boyd, and he just wants to kill Boyd.
Yeah, and it's like when all of the blue uniform, the regular officers are responding to this guy running through the city, he literally is just standing there. He just kind of like lowers his shotgun, reaches into his pocket, and just like casually holds his badge up, like yeah. And they're like, "What is wrong with you? You can't do that." Like,
and that moment is mirrored later in the movie with Boyd when he talks to some other uniformed cops, and the uniformed cop is like, you undercover guys with your long hair and your tennis shoes, They assume he's an undercover cop and not an ex-cop. I liked that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so Boyd getting chased by Barnes, and then he's going to head to the dog pound, animal control. Yep. And Barnes goes back to the theater, talks to them because there's a whole dust up, right? And there was a call in.
And I think at this point, this is when Soltic is called back to the
Yes,
Clayton's,
to the
and
Clayton's house.
has he did not confirm, but Tonelli could intimate that he absolutely has somebody's daughter there. It's not your daughter, but he's got somebody's daughter. And then he connects, oh my gosh, it's probably Boyd's daughter. Which is weird because I think a lot of other movies, you wouldn't have gotten Tonelli as early. You would have brought them in like later on. But
yes,
because I almost like forgot, like, oh, he doesn't know that these are the same thing. We know that, but he doesn't know until that moment.
I also like, by the way, having police in a film be competent. Like, and not so much in the Boyd section of things, but Lieutenant Tonelli dealing with Clayton and dealing with this kidnapping, where he's not giving away any information to Soltic when he calls. To know, like, he doesn't give away that they know he doesn't have the daughter of the Claytons.
Yeah,
and
he poses as the father. And it's just respond to the questions. Get the. Well, he's trying to keep him on the line so they can trace the call as well.
Right,
but they're not successful.
But I like to overall the police in this movie weren't heroes, but they weren't incompetent buffoons either.
Yeah,
they felt very real in that you had some that were competent and knew what they were doing, and then you had the cartoon character of Sergeant Barnes, who was just like, I'm going to kill Sean Boyd, and I don't care who dies in the process. Like,
part of that could be an element of the layoffs they had to make because of the lack of funding they had in the city at the time.
Yeah,
so they only have the good cops. But no, it's just,
well, no,
bit of a reach.
but I get where you're going. But like, I appreciated that about the movie because it felt, again, it made this feel more real and gritty in that way, because not all of the cops were bad, but not all of the cops were good. There was a spectrum of them. There was because Tonelli dealing with later on when they set up the drop for the money with Soltic and the Claytons at a concert that's going to happen in Central
Park. Yeah.
Yep. And so then Tonelli goes there and he's talking to the guy at that, and that dude is awful. I hated him so much.
The long hair guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Now
the guy with the gator shirt.
Yes, he had the gator.
The shirt. Oversized gator. Like, I guess our gators got small in our age. Like,
they did.
They were bigger back then. Anyway.
But it culminates in Boyd goes to the animal control, and he finds this is where we meet Julie Carmen's character Maria, who I thought was in the movie more. Like, I honestly, because I watched the trailer and I thought, oh, she's gonna be more important. No. She's in the movie for the last 20 minutes.
She's in the movie more than other people are.
This is true.
She's one of the more consistent people. But yeah, even looking back at it, you're like, oh, she doesn't come in till pretty late, actually. Yeah.
It's an hour and 37-minute movie, and I think she's like an hour and 7 minutes in, she shows up.
Yeah. But she's pretty consistent at that point afterwards, though.
But like that, so Boyd goes there, they're looking for the things, Barnes shows up. Barnes doesn't care about anything.
Right as they find the address, all right, you're coming with me.
And look, Barnes got what he deserved, right? He got put upside down, hanging off the fence with the dogs at the pound, like chomping at him.
Trying to walk Boyd out of there, and he gets knocked into the Doberman cages and is being attacked. And then Boyd hesitates. Maria walks up and is just like, hey! Like, something. Boyd gets a hose and like sprays the dogs to just stop.
Maria being
let him hang
Boyd's
for
conscience.
a second.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna save him, but I'm gonna take my time doing it.
And she has just, and this is interesting, she has just met him. It came from, some guy took my daughter. I need to find this dog he had, and then now a cop is here, and I let him hang over dogs. Come spend the rest of the movie with me. It's like,
right?
I don't know.
It was good.
But although there is an element, because once he has the address, it's in the South Side, and it's in an area that is not so friendly to Caucasian people at this time. Right. So she basically was like, "Oh, I head down that way. I'll kind of see you off a little bit," and then ultimately ends up like following him just to like make sure he gets where he needs to get without being harassed too much. But anyway, back to leaving the
so they take off. They're going to go to the South Bronx to find, because they got the address, so they know where they're going. And They get on the train. They take it there. She decides to go with him. They get accosted. I did like how the thugs on the street slowly built up. Like they saw them coming off the train. They saw her, and they saw her walking with this white guy. And
they started to follow him, I think, before they saw her come off.
They were following him. Then they see her catch up to him, and then they're following the both of them, and they kind of accost him right before as the
peeling off more people as they're like snowball building as they follow them. They're just collecting more people, and
it's building. And then they get the cabbie, and there's a confrontation outside the cab before they're kind of able to get into it, and then they drive off. And I like this cabbie being like, "Yeah, you've been, it's been like this for a while, and they're a pain in the ass to everybody." Like, and
African American cabbie.
Yes.
So we've got an African American cabbie, and I believe they're Puerto Ricans, is what they've been described as in the movie. That have been harassing, and I guess Maria is also supposed to be Puerto Rican. But there's a moment in that interaction where the cabbie pulls up, and he basically, Maria has the address. It's like she's gonna go see about this. They're gonna like go check on the address themselves and like leave Boyd to deal with this gang of Puerto Ricans. And then as he isn't able to continue to beat all of them up, they stop the car, and she very effectively yells, "Come on!" at him. Like that was one of the most like authentic yells of that I've seen on the film. But they get in the car, then they drive off.
So they drive off. So they head for the building in the South Bronx off the train. They're heading there, and they get there, and it is a rough area, and it's condemned buildings and all this. But the gang followed them, kept looking for them. Yeah, and so
now. Oh, and this is right as Soltic is going. Oh, this is where we learn that from a lady that lives in the area. She calls him the Mole Man.
Yeah.
Which is also in the trailer, but is not really that big of an element. But yeah, he basically is familiar with like the sewers and like the steam tunnels and stuff under the city.
Yep.
So he's going to the pickup with Kathy, and of course this happens right as Boyd is there with Maria. So now Boyd is chasing Soltic, and the Puerto Rican gang is chasing Boyd.
Yes. And we have that because we no longer have, like, Sergeant Barnes is now out of the picture, so he's not the secondary antagonist. Now the secondary antagonist is the Puerto Rican gang. So that's the other side of it. So Boyd is being pulled in one direction by Soltic and his daughter, while he's being pushed in that same direction by the Puerto Rican gang following him. He doesn't get to them before they can get to the train and get on the platform, and then he has a confrontation with the Puerto Rican gang. This is where we have the moment where the cop shows up, and they assume he's undercover, and he's like, "I got to talk to Tonelli," and he talks to Tonelli.
Yeah.
Because we're setting up for our climax, which is at a concert at night in Central Park. That is where the money exchange is going to happen. Tonelli and his people assume it's going to go one way, but Boyd has figured out, because of his talk with the woman, that, the Mole Man, he knows the tunnels. It's not going to go the way that they think it's going to go. He's setting up something
from underneath,
And then...
And Tonelli had very intentionally set one of his guys on an elevated position above the money to watch the door, anticipating Soltic coming in from outside, which is ultimately not relevant anymore because that's not where he's coming from. So,
and this is where the movie takes a bit of a turn, and I can see this stuff with Soltic being more of a serial killer in the novel. The stuff in this climax makes a lot more sense than it does in this movie, which is it starts to get really weird and creepy, and they've planted some seeds with him and Kathy throughout the movie.
We've kind of skipped over a lot of that, but I'd say a quick summation of it. So she's 13 as of this day. that the movie is taking place. Soltic mentions that he lived there with his mom. She passed. At one point, he keeps referencing his mom, and she mentions like her diet, and he tells her like, you don't have to worry about that. You're beautiful. So like there are things that could be taken as just very friendly, nice compliments or whatever in any other situation by any other person, but him saying them is like, I don't know. There's a moment where she comes out of her room with the mother's blue dress on.
Yeah.
And I thought about this and I was like, I don't believe I think she just threw it on over her other clothes. I don't believe she did a full change, because then they leave and she's in her regular clothes. I think she just threw it on over, which is better. But all of Soltic, I think Soltic was just looking at the thing in front of him as a potential answer to what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And he starts to mix up, like, he knows, I mean, he doesn't really know who Kathy is because he still thinks he's the Clayton's daughter. But the time that they spent together, she's been pretty like straightforward, sympathetic. She's been honest with him. She's been direct. He has been trying to care for her, but it ultimately becomes as the potential for him to actually get out of this, or the anticipation of maybe getting away with it makes him think maybe you can go for more. Then it becomes, no, I'm not gonna release her. I'm gonna keep her. You know, it becomes more of like a fixation, and
it does. There's a slow build of fixation, and the whole like, maybe you're not gonna want to go back. Maybe you're gonna want to stay with me, and it gets creepy to the point of, by the time, so they have the exchange with the money. He shoots the cop. Soltic shoots the cop, takes the money.
Yep.
They're back in the tunnels.
Boyd grabs a gun from Tonelli and runs in.
Yep.
While
Boyd goes after him.
The cop.
So he's chasing him through the tunnels. Now, real quick, I want to mention, people sometimes will talk about modern movies being very dark, like lighting. Modern movies got nothing on the 70s and 80s for dark lighting in films.
Yeah.
You go back and watch some of these movies, especially from like 70, early 70s through like mid 80s. There are scenes in movies that are so dark because they're just literally underlit. And so much of this climax is in the tunnels, and I get it, but man, it's hard to see what's going on here. Like, this is Alien v versus Predator Requiem level of lighting, where you can't see shit.
Yeah, and I've only watched it on the 4K, which is the restoration, so looks pretty good on my TV.
Right.
But yeah,
I can imagine in the theater,
but
it was like, what's going on?
It's effectively dark.
It is,
especially as it gets to what I thought was like a really cool moment where Soltic again knows these tunnels, and so he's shooting back at Boyd and like turns a valve and steam comes out and Boyd pursues, and then Soltic crosses an area and then like turns around and like knocks a cable down into some water.
Yeah.
And there's a little, we're not sure what happened, but then Boyd makes his way over, and just as he's about to like land, like something falls in and it hits the water and it sparks. So then it cuts to Soltic and Kathy, and they just see like this flashing blue silhouette like against the wall, and Soltic's like, that's it, I've won. Like, you can tell he's like, that's it, I've won. The game is mine,
Mm-hmm.
And then like as they're turning, you just start to see like James Brolin's silhouettes emerge out. I'm like, this is great.
There was some moments of great cinematography in the tunnel scenes, but then we get the final confrontation with Sean Boyd and Gus Soltic, and it's really, Soltic has gone super creepy at this point. Like, he's gone from creepy weirdo to complete total nut bar.
I did, so again, not to excuse him, but I appreciated the perspective of the story.
Oh yeah.
Again, well, so there was a moment where I think it's during this chase, but like, or just before this chase, he tells Kathy, he's just like, oh, we're gonna go away, we're gonna go someplace, and we'll be happy or whatever. And they're already standing like kind of close, but he leans in and he kisses her on the lips, not like open mouth or anything, but kisses her on the lips, and it's definitely unsettling. And then
Yes.
it cuts to behind him over his shoulder as he pulls back, and Kathy's just like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we're locked in now. This guy, we're done with him. I'm glad that she's just like, I don't understand what's happening. She seems to be taking things fairly well, considering. But again, but yeah,
And it's
I
one of-
appreciate that they had that moment, and it wasn't just like a victimization thing or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Because it's one of those things where Gus Soltic goes from like he is a creep and he's a kidnapper, but then you get a little bit of empathy for him because of the whole
Yeah.
like, I lost everything, but he's gone past the point of no return, and now he is irredeemable, and he's just gone completely crazy.
which is a great consistent arc for him through the movie, especially with Kathy, because the end of it, the climax of the movie, is ultimately like Kathy is standing near a ladder to go up to the park. Soltig is standing there with a gun pointed at Boyd, and Boyd is just saying, go on, he won't hurt you. Like, he's not going to shoot you, he's going to shoot me. And he's basically just like telling her, like, go on. And he's like, and Soltig is, no, we're going to stay together. She doesn't want to leave. And it's literally her continuing to walk up the ladder that like finally like the last bit of it just drains out of Soltig, and he's just like, okay, well, I got nothing left, and then just try to fight with Boyd, and but it's like there was nothing that was going to get him to come around out of his own, I guess, internal monologue, brainwashing, or stereotypical
he was
structure. Yeah, he was
gone. Absolutely, he was gone. By
did
that
not
point.
want to come back. So yeah, but I like that after this long movie of all these like action chase scenes, like that was the standoff, and it was very much like it fit really well.
No, it was real good.
Apologies to anybody that wanted to watch this movie on their own and experience all these moments. It's still worth watching.
It's
actually,
it honestly is. And
it benefits from a rewatch because you start to see some of the elements that like lead up to things more. But
and then of course it has the ending of it just sort of in the vein of movies from the 70s and 80s. It just ends.
Yeah, they come up out of the sewer, and it's literally just a shot of them walking. Oh, the consistent hot dog cart throughout the movie as well. That's like a character in itself. I wondered if they only had one cart and they just kept reusing it because it looked like the same cart. But anyway, yeah, it basically
that's a standard issue New York City hot dog cart.
Yeah, they just walk into the distance. Maria's standing by the hot dog cart. Boyd and Kathy walk up, and the same song that was playing in the porno theater is playing at the park
somehow.
And I guess I should say the same song that was playing in the park was also used in the porno theater. I don't want to conflate it the other way around. It's not like they were, in the But yeah, the whole credits roll while they're just standing there eating hot dogs in the distance. It's like that's a cool ending. I like that. Like, well,
but I also
back to life, back to New York.
I kind of like a movie that just sort of, hey, we've gone through this and then we're done. We move on. We don't need an aftermath. We don't need the fallout of what happened, because there's a considerable amount of paperwork that has to be filled out.
I'm sure.
There's all sorts of medical stuff that's going to happen, but none of that matters. We're just going to end the movie. And
Kathy might be moving to her mom's house regardless.
Right. Yeah. She and Sean may not have a choice in the matter. When it comes down to it, but none of that is important to what we watched.
Yeah.
And overall, I think this is quite enjoyable. Now, I do have some clips I want to play.
Okay.
There was a lot of them. Again, I skipped some things that were very problematic. Or I trimmed some things that were problematic. But there was a few good ones. I'm going to start with Sergeant Barnes, because Dan Hedaya, it's Hedaya. And I love Dan Hedaya. Dan Hedaya is always, for me, the captain from Running Scared. Doesn't matter what else I see him in, because that movie is so burned into my brain. But I like him. And in this, he just, whatever his notes were for how this character is, it was like, just go to 11 with it. Just go absolutely batshit. But I only caught a couple of things of his, and one of them was this.
Yeah, give me a 22.5.
So I was curious about that, right? Because it's a give me a 22.5. And I love like radio code.
Mm-hmm.
So a 22.5 is restricted radio traffic is a code 22. And a 5 had to do with, I had it written down, surveillance. So he wanted restricted radio traffic, and he is going to be on surveillance looking for someone. So they were consistent with that. I liked that. And then I also liked when he said,
Wanted for assault on officer and attempted murder. Suspect believed headed for the 42nd Street Porno District. Out.
So when I captured that, it was two things. There was two reasons I captured it. Number one, I was like, how did he know he was going to 42nd Street? But you helped me understand that. And on a rewatch, I'm sure I'd pick up on it. The other thing was wanted for assault on an officer and attempted murder. One of those two things is true.
Well, it's wanted for assault on an officer and attempted murder. It's like, let's throw this in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, the pause on there was great.
But I mean, leave it to Barnes to, conflate it a bit,
Sure. But no, I
juggle the wording.
Well played.
Terrible.
Mandy Patinkin's cabbie.
He does say his name in this, but it's very quick and it's hard to make out.
Yeah,
when he talks about the Puerto Rican 500.
my notes were, I wish we had more Maria and Cabby, because I loved their characters. I get why they weren't in it for a whole lot as I reflect on the movie. Like you said, it's a journey. It's moving through. It's very much a little bit reminiscent for me because I'd seen it before, but like Die Hard with a Vengeance is that kind of moving through New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And this has that where you're going from point A to B to C. So these characters are coming in and out of the story as he moves through the city. But I loved Mandy Patinkin's character so much. I just wanted more of him. But I loved, like, the first thing he says, you don't even see his character yet. It's Saltic is stuck in traffic.
This is the opening car chase.
Yeah, the opening car chase. And he just backs up into the cab and then drives off onto the sidewalk. And you hear the cabbie.
What the hell do you think? This is Disneyland?
Like, it's that din. You think this is Disneyland? Like,
yeah.
That was great.
And there are a number of like dubbed lines like that, like when Boyd is coming up out of the subway at one point.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't think we even covered. That was part of the end of this chase. Was like they get on the subway, they get off the cars and stuff. But he jumps off the subway and like over this lady's cart, and she's just like, you son of a," and it's like over everybody else in the city. Like you hear her voice.
I might have that here. Hold on. Where did I put that one? This.
Hey, you goddamn son of a bitch!
Yep, that's the one. Yeah.
There was a second part of that line I did not capture.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Trim accordingly. Yeah.
Yes. Use some wording I don't particularly love, but
yeah, hard to get an audio clip of the other subway person when Boyd is trying to find Saltig and Kathy, and there's a guy like selling stuff through the subway, and he's talking fast and he's rhyming and he's talking, and Boyd's like, "Hey, you seen a guy with a girl or whatever?" And the guy doesn't even like break his stride. He's just like, "Hey, yeah, you gotta sell some stuff. Give me your money. I need your stuff, And he just like points down to the subway. It's that New York community of yeah, he went that way, but
that was great. Going. That was so. I've only been to New York City a few times, but that was so New York City, where the guy never breaks stride in what he's doing, but also gives the information to the person. Loved it. Some more cabbie stuff.
A guy got out of cane. Look out! A guy got out of cane in my neighborhood once.
I love that because that is such a like cab driver moment where he's yelling, he's trying to talk to his fare, and then yells at someone else to look out, get out of the way. I love that.
And this is while they're chasing Saltig, I believe, down the sidewalk.
Yes.
At this point,
they're driving on the sidewalk because they're there for a reason. There was also
it's really worth watching these scenes play out. I would say worth watching.
Okay. I used to drive in the Puerto Rican 500. You know what that is? You get about 500 guys, and you all go over to Crotona Park and get loaded. Then everybody goes out and steals a car, and the first guy to make it to Bayonne, New Jersey, pop like this, he's the winner.
Did you just say his name there? Was it?
No.
What's his name again? Oh.
His name is Alessandro.
Oh, okay.
But he just like, he's describing what the Puerto Rican 500 is, which is hilarious.
It's... You win. You made it to New Jersey.
Yeah. You stole a car. You made it there first. You won.
Wow.
I also love these two moments.
The white guy.
Figures. Mostly a perverts are white guys.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong there. But also,
I don't know what's the matter with you people. You must wear your underwear too tight or something.
Yeah. Now,
that's real good.
Clearly
That's
not going to
real
set that up with the other audio clip, but he prefaces that with what kind of guy was this, and refers to two different ethnicities,
Yes.
assuming it's not a white person. And then when Boyd says, no, he's a white guy, it figures. It's like you're immediately, no, it's got to be. So it's just he's back and forth. He's changing lanes as much as he changes lanes in traffic.
Yeah. But I don't know what's wrong with you. You must wear your underwear too tight.
Oh, yeah.
Cracked me up. That got me. Because this would have been the era of tighty whities. For sure. Everybody's wearing briefs. Fruit of the Loom briefs.
Yeah. Some great hairstyles, too. Not in the briefs. I mean, wow. Okay. That was not where I was.
But also, yes.
Yeah.
This one I just, I'm just going to play this.
You're a dirty man, Whitey.
That was the wino.
Yeah.
Just cracked. I just liked him saying that to Soltic.
Small role, but he did well with, like, it was, yeah. Everybody did well in their roles, I believe. Yeah.
You got a lot of great New York actors in this.
Mm-hmm.
There was the other cabbie, which was the African-American cabbie in the Bronx. Had a couple lines.
Man, that's a mean bunch of chili peppers.
I liked her. She's the sassy one, right?
Yeah.
That's a mean bunch of, like, she had a lot of and sort of that head wobble. I
am glad she was in the movie too, because I don't think there was as much individualized African American
there was not
representation. Tonelli is, I think, like Indian.
No, he's Italian.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Oh, no, I've got some Tonelli clips I'm going to play here in a second.
Okay, so it's just very deep olive skin. It's okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was more like South Asian kind of, but very green eyes. You can't. Gosh, those eyes. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. No, but I loved this cabbie, and again, it's a character I would want more of, but I also understand why she kind of comes into the movie and then leaves the movie.
Yeah.
And then her explaining to them.
Honey, they're a pain in the ass to everybody.
And I just liked they're just a pain in the ass to everybody.
Saying that while Maria is
in the cab. Yes.
Puerto Ricans and Maria, and it's very similar to, like, I mean, again, you just paired the clips. Boyd's in the back seat, like, you white guys are perverts, and then Maria's in the back seat, like, you're just a pain to everybody. You're still in my cab, and I'm still bringing you where you want to go, but I'm gonna crap on you. But yeah,
pretty much. James Brolin, we haven't talked about him enough. James Brolin is great.
Yeah, I think the first thing I messaged you when I started to watch this was I can't get over how much he looks like Christian Bale.
There is some Christian Bale in there for sure.
I had recently watched The Prestige again, and he has a mustache for part of that, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is very Christian. He looks more like Christian Bale than Josh Brolin.
He does look more like Christian Bale than Josh Brolin, which is true. But James Brolin just has this presence about him. Mm-hmm. He is a guest star in an episode of Psych that I absolutely adore. Mostly because they got James Brolin to say the word binky a bunch, which cracks me up. But there's something about him that works. And I think it's that late 70s, shaggy hair, beard. He's tall, he's 6'2", 6'3". He's lean. He looks great. Like, he's a great looking guy. And he's just got this look about him, and he's got this charisma about him. So I talked about it already, but like those opening scenes with him and Kathy were great.
Yeah.
And as the movie goes on, like, he's just got this thing about him. But he has lines like, there was this one was one of those where I'm like, no.
Look, these things happen.
No, these things don't, like, not just, no, they don't just happen. Damn it. Like, come on. And that's him talking to his ex-wife. But then there's other things, like you mentioned this one.
Keep the change, I'm rich.
I love that.
Gosh,
I love that.
Do you have the what he's walking down the sidewalk?
So I've got this one.
The valet tickets you got them.
The ballet? They said this was for the Yankee game. I was robbed.
That is perfect, father-daughter banter right there.
Yeah. No, when so this is the opening of the movie. He's driven home, got his check. He's coming home, walking down the sidewalk.
Yes, it's this one.
Hey, what are you doing Saturday?
Ask me.
Well, I just might do that.
And this is just a woman walking down the street.
Yep.
I assume they're probably neighbors. They probably know each other. But
presumably, they've met before. They're probably neighbors. Yeah.
So
I cut that one down a little bit.
Yeah. It's a little long. It's a little long, but I just think it's funny. It's just like everywhere. He's coming home. It's the end of the day. He's very comfortable and happy. He's very playful.
But it's that neighborhood, right? It's that walking down to the corner bodega, and the person working the counter at the bodega, and you know them by their first name, and you know all your neighbors on your block, right?
You know the hot dog seller.
Yeah.
Give me.
I love this.
Hey, you kidding? You got your old man's looks.
Talking to his daughter about, you got your old man's looks. Like, yeah. And if you're lucky, maybe his beard.
And that's, I don't know that it doesn't need to be a huge conversation or anything, but it's one of those weird things. Again, rewatching it, you start to piece things together. She's 13. She's on a diet.
Yeah.
And she's asking her dad if a boy will ever like her. And that's where he's like, you got your old man's looks. And then it's like, now you've got the entire rest of this traumatic day ahead of you to horrifically.
Right.
But I mean, I guess that compared to like her, like, why did you do that? And it was not a like traumatized. It was more of like a general confusion. Like, I don't understand what you did that for. And then like her going up the ladder. It's just like, I feel like she should be okay for the most part.
It would be very interesting to follow the story and see how Barbara dealt with all of this. But the relationship between Sean and Kathy is very strong, and I like that.
Yeah.
I also loved this exchange with, apparently he does well enough to have like a housekeeper, or maybe she's just the super in the building that decides to fold his laundry for him. I don't know, but I liked this little exchange right at the end.
Oh, Mr. Boyd. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. Your ex-wife wants you to call her.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. And just close the door. Like,
I don't know if he's an inner city trucker or if he's like a long haul. So
I think he's long haul. I think he's gone for a little while. So maybe she just kind of keeps an eye on his daughter for him.
And he's got Kathy for the whole weekend. So it might be I don't know. Or maybe it's just he has the whole weekend before he has to go back out. I don't know. But yeah, it could be a super, it could be and that scene plays at this like parallel with Soltig calling the Clayton house and their housekeeper answering the phone, and then you see Boyd come home and there's a woman, oh, Mr. Boyd, I talked to you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so you can see, wait, that's not the same person he talked to. Like you start to see these conflated elements of the similarities, but it plays really well.
Speaking of Soltic, I got a couple of him.
He's got some great ones.
I loved this moment where he walks up to the hot dog cart. Give me a yoo-hoo. Because I drank a lot of yoo-hoo growing up. I love yoo-hoo.
I think that is when he was watching for the daughter to walk out of the house. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's legitimizing a reason to stand there.
Yep. Yeah. But I love the give me a yoo-hoo, and then later on we also got that made me laugh.
Keeps yelling at her as they run, which is ridiculous. He is a bit of a clown. I guess maybe he is a juggler. I don't know. He's kind of comical at times.
I mean, the thing is, when I think
he's
of Juggler,
enjoying it. He's enjoying it. I think that's what it is.
There was this moment in the first car chase.
Don't give me that witch doctor shit. Just move the truck.
When they pull up on the truck and the Haitian comes out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
I love that exchange because that felt very New York as well. Like, it doesn't matter if there's a car chase going on. That exchange has happened 1,000 times.
Yeah.
When he takes Kathy, they get to the South Bronx, right? They get to where his buildings are. She runs off. He tracks her down, stabs the dude, the wino, and then tells her,
I'm warning you, don't ever try that again. There's a lot of very bad people live around here.
yeah, you're one of them, dude. You're one of them.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing is he's gotten to the point where he's focused on everybody else around him being bad that he doesn't realize what he's become. So,
Yeah, I mean, he's the hero of his own story. I get it.
Yeah.
And then and here's some of the social commentary, the socio-economic economic commentary, where he talks about
All the rich bastards lie. That's how they get rich, and that's how they stay rich.
it's not wrong. Like, I get it. You know, and then kind of a name drop.
They were all in it together, juggling the books. Well, now they're going to pay. Now I'm going to be the juggler. I'm going to juggle the books my way, and it's going to balance out for me.
And that works in context in the movie, but I still don't think calling the movie Night of the Juggler worked.
It doesn't get you into the door, but
No.
yeah. It's also not going to be confused with any other movie, though. So if you're like, hey, have you seen this? Like, so. But, I mean, it could be part of why it kind of was lost for so long, because...
Yeah. He made some funny noises, too. Like, I love capturing acting laughs. You know this, so I have. That's pretty good. There was also, this one was when he is talking about being the juggler and juggling the books. That's a Joker level laugh right there.
Yeah.
That's like a Cesar Romero type laugh. And he had all these little noises. That chuckle is chilling. I don't know what that is.
They're like,
I don't know what that
is,
but like
feral, animalistic, like guttural responses. Yeah.
And this is as like he's slowly slipping, right? He's getting crazier and crazier. Also, there was this was from the final fight with Boyd and Soltic, and he broke his arm. That snap.
Yeah. And
rough.
then fighting for the next like minute and a half with his left arm just limply hanging there, which I don't know that I fully picked up on until watching it again today.
Yeah, no, he doesn't use that arm at all. This was one, so this line was ADR replaced because the original line was much worse. It's where he says,
I love you, little girl.
He says, I love you, little girl.
Oh, yeah.
And that's creepy. But then he says to Boyd,
I'm gonna keep her, I'm gonna keep her.
Originally in the script and filmed, that was not I'm going to keep her.
Was it a K or was it an F?
It was an F. And that's...
Yeah, that
yikes.
changes the whole thing.
That really changes
Sympathy out the window.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's already creepy enough, but the way... And that was one where the MPAA, who normally I complain to, and I don't love what the MPAA does because it's so arbitrary, but this was one where they were like, you know, maybe don't do that. And the filmmakers were wise to heed that, because I think he's already bad enough. Soltic is a bad enough character. We don't need that level of it.
And you don't need to enrage Boyd to the point of like finally committing to, because he's just been waiting to stop Soltic.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't need to get him to that level of like I have to do it or this will like so. There's no benefit for it being that level. So yeah, it works better this way. Again, less is more usually is a lot better.
Yeah. Lieutenant Tonelli, I got a few of his. I got to play these real quick because these are so good.
He's one of my favorite characters of the movie.
He's my favorite character in the movie. Like, we meet him, and he walks up, and he's already talking about.
I need a hole in the head. What a battle I had getting out of the house this morning. Don't take it personally. Don't let me think about it. Think about what? How much you figure a wedding dress would cost? Take a guess at it. Good. Take a wild shot. $100? Wrong. 650 plus tax. You believe it?
Now, there right there is a clip that explains the era this movie is made, right? Because you've got this crosstalk, din, sound of the city going on, but you can pick out a little bit of the dialogue, and it's him talking about a wedding dress, which, by the way, I did the math on that. It's about a $2,500 dress in today's money. But I loved that. And like just everything with Lieutenant Tonelli was so good. When he's talking to the cop, because they show up, the first place they show up, we don't get a lot further on this, but there was like a bomb threat called in or something.
Yeah. He said later, he's like, I had 5 bomb threats called in today. Well, I got places to be. I got things to do. But yeah.
But I loved him talking to that cop, like, and he's got the note. There's like a manifesto. And he starts to read it, and he's like, this is giving me a headache. You read it. And the guy starts reading it, and then he interrupts with,
blah, 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 bullshit.
Was so good.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that forever. I've got to put that on my soundboard. That's just a great one to use.
Yeah.
And then the cop
right by.
Yeah, and then the cop's like, well, what do you want?
So what do you want to do? You want to go up there now or what?
Now I'll take some coffee, a Danish, and 3 aspirin.
Coffee, a Danish, and 3 aspirins. Yeah, you better make it 6.
Yeah.
So New York.
And then that's going to be another goddamn New York day.
Yep. And then little things like him talking about.
Hey, look, Fogarty, do me a favor, will you? Call my wife. I don't want to talk to her. Tell her to get the dress. I mean, what the hell? The kids only get married once. I think.
The kids only get married once, I think. Ooh.
Yeah.
But Tonelli is a good guy. He's a good guy cop, because there's the moment with that dude with the long hair who he says they're talking about the money exchange, and the guy's going to come out in the open. Mind you, this is during a concert in Central Park.
Yeah.
And he says,
and suppose he's got the kid with him. He's been using her as a shield.
Well, then we got to aim a little high, you know?
I hated that guy so much.
Yeah. He's very much, let's just get the job done and move on. But then also, when they're setting up, doesn't want his guy to be in danger. So then Tonelli's like, I'll put one of my guys up there so you don't have to worry about it. And
it's the callous disregard for human life that character has. And so he says that about the daughter being involved in it, and I like Tonelli coming right back with,
I ain't sending no kid through no crossfire. You got that?
Like, he's not going to do it, and I appreciate that.
Do you have the clip of Tonelli talking with Clayton?
I have this.
Thieves, creeps of all kinds. They don't scare me. You scare me.
Because Clayton is like talking about, I'm going to put political pressure on. I'm going to talk to the mayor. I'm going to talk to the chief of police, all of this. That's something that doesn't get explored enough in the movie.
Well, it's because Tonelli's at their apartment and now has pieced together that Soltig has Boyd's daughter, and is like, okay, well, even before that, he's like, I have 5 bomb threats today. I got things I got to do. He's like, I can't just sit here and babysit your girl that hasn't been kidnapped yet.
Right.
And then that, these things don't scare me. You scare me. That's basically when Clayton is pushing his entitlement, like, hey, I have a lot of money. Or there's a subtle line where it's like, yeah, there's a nice apartment. How much do you pay for it? And he's like, we own the building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so Tonelli is like, I get it. You have money. I'm having money problems, but you don't tell me what to do. I'm doing my job. And then the guy with the long hair, he even mentions after that, I'm not putting a kid through a crossfire. He follows that with, you tell Clayton. So he assumes that he's being pressured by other people to just stop this guy before it gets to his daughter. So, yeah, you kind of have to like put some of it together, but yeah.
Well, because Clayton even says this.
I think I'm entitled.
You do think you're entitled. I get it.
It's hard to, from doing this podcast, full 360, it's hard to talk about certain things and being like, did he pull that clip? Should I talk about it? Should I wait? Should I not say it? Did he pull that clip? Like,
there was also, like, again, Tonelli, my favorite one. There's this backstory, and I love when movies do this, where they give us a backstory. This is very like Columbo talking about his wife, but you never actually see the wife or meet Mrs. Columbo. She's just Mrs. Columbo. And it's all the stuff with Tonelli and his wife and the marriage that's coming up for his daughter, because he's constantly on the phone talking to her, and like, I love this.
Give him lasagna, antipasto, wine, and rich crackers.
He's like, what caterer? What do we need a caterer for? You give him this. That's where I was like, yeah, he's Italian. 100%.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that, I guess. Sorry.
But like there's that, or there is I love him saying
wrong.
Just wrong all the time.
Yeah.
And this one was perfect. I love this.
I know that Margaret is my daughter. And so is Teresa. So is Annette. So is what's her name? Michelle.
He gets to daughter number 4 and he can't remember her damn name. It got me.
Soltic, Gus Soltic.
Gus Soltic. Soltic? Oh, you mean the mole man.
I love that woman. She was great.
It feels like that came from another movie, though. The way she...
It does. No, I don't disagree with that. It does, because then she follows it up with...
Oh, shit. That sucker is crazy.
Like...
Yeah.
Everybody in that neighborhood knows that Soltic is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if they tore down all your buildings and you chose to stay living in one of them, like, yeah, you own that, I guess. But come on, I mean, anyway.
Last two I got to play because these are great. The dude in the porno theater when he walks in.
Quarters, everything costs quarters.
Everything costs quarters.
Yep.
That got me, and then because he immediately said, like, Boyd comes in saying, I need help, and he's like, yeah, what do you need? It's going to cost you. Like, money talks, bullshit walks, that kind of thing. That got me. And then I'm a sucker for stage laughs, acting laughs, and I'm a sucker for well-trodden sound effects.
Oh, is it what I think it is?
And this is one of my favorite ricochet noises ever. That twing.
Yep.
There's
also
ricochet.
The car crash sound.
There is that one. Yep.
Which I rewatching it today because I was like, is this the movie they pulled that sound from? Because it's very effective. But I'm like, oh no, it just a lot of them you just hear the and it cuts to the impact as it. So the editing was just it really came together in the edit, but
it did.
It's the same sound effect in 3 different crashes, but it works in 3 different crashes. So
it does.
It doesn't Wilhelm itself out of like pull you out of the movie,
Oh, I loved in that opening chase, Boyd stealing the car, and it's the street preacher.
Oh yes, who apparently is an actor who has had like other roles, and each of them is drastically different.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, this is one of the IMDb commentary guys mentioned it, but I was not familiar with him. But yeah,
that's Barton Heyman was the preacher. So I'm not familiar with him, but I loved he gets in the car as he's taking it, and he says this.
Guess you really need to steal yourself a car.
I'm not stealing your car.
No, don't worry. I got insurance. Praise God.
I got insurance. Was killing me. That was really good. And then the last one I want to play, because this is the one clip I got from Barbara. And it was the turn of phrase that she used.
You just have to louse everything up.
Lousing it up. I like that.
Yeah, it's very Connecticut.
It is very Connecticut. No, look, this is one of those movies I had no idea it existed until you mentioned it. I'm really glad I saw it because I do think it's a fun time capsule, and I love this era of filmmaking. I really do.
Yeah.
So this was a fun one to watch.
Opening a window to 1978, just like
it is. It's also this really interesting era of like New York City, where it's not the New York City of the 50s and 60s. That's kind of this idealized version that you saw in movies like The Apartment or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's this grimier, dirtier version of New York City that feels really interesting to me.
Yeah, but it's pre-punk, so it's not like Was Warrior 70 or was like in the 70s or was that in the 80s?
I think it was somewhere between like 79 and 81. So it was right in there.
So yeah, so I mean, I think that's like the transitionary. And this was made in 78, came out in 80, but as you get into the 80s, like punk and like the deterioration and like the impact, because at this point they've denied funding to the city. I don't know New York history that much, but you haven't seen the long-term effects of that stuff until like later in the 80s. So like this is not like the filthy porno district that it was in other movies, you know, but it's still the porno district. But it's just, that's where that happens.
But it feels very New York. And I love when, number one, I love when movies can shoot in the city that they're portraying, right? I like New York being shot in New York and not Vancouver or Toronto. But I also like when they feel like the place they are. Like one of the things I loved about The Fisher King was it felt like New York City. This feels like New York City. Die Hard with a Vengeance feels like New York City. And I appreciate that.
I think a big part of that, as they move into the South area, it does tend to get like wider shots and stuff. But as they're like in the, like up by Central Park and like the proper of the city or whatever, it's a lot of like very like shallow depths. Like everything is like pulled in tight. There aren't like wide establishing shots. Like the frames are filled with cars and people. You can see a distance, but it still feels claustrophobic. Like you're tucked between the buildings. And if there had been like I thought about that. If there was like a helicopter like overhead watching this chase, I think it would have pulled me out of it.
Oh, for sure. No, it feels very street level, and I like that. No, this was a great choice. And what I've liked is that every time we have talked on this show, we're always talking about something that is either very personal or just like this really interesting dive into film history with 3 Days of the Condor, with Network, with this movie, like stuff that is of an era that is so different from today, but yet still relevant. There's so much of this movie's story that's relevant today with socioeconomic divide and rich getting richer and poor getting poorer and gentrification, and all of that stuff is still relevant today, 40 years plus after this movie was made. I love that. And yet this movie is also very much of the era that it was made.
There are a number of like the movies you need to see. I mean, especially you and I, we both went to film school. Like there are things that obviously you must have seen The Godfather. You must have seen this. You must have seen, like, I've done my homework, as it were, with a lot of things, but there's some movies that I've watched and I'm just like, okay, like I get it. Like I get why this was for its time. People can hate me for this. Scorsese never really hits the needle for me. Like I watch it, I can get some out of it. Like he does a lot of New York stuff as well, but it doesn't register the same. But like a movie like this, it just like struck a chord with me. And Blood Simple. I think I just like the earlier works, like the more independent type stuff as well. But anything that like just resonates differently. And also like, where is this, like kind of the whole point of the podcast, like where has this been and how have I not heard of it until now?
Yeah. I mean, the lack of marketing for it on its release, and then it just sort of not being a thing for 30 plus years. But I'm so glad that somebody realized it enough to do this physical media release, and that you found it, and now I found it. And I think it's a movie that people should see. Just know going into it, there's going to be some language that's a little questionable. It's of its era.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But yeah, no, Night of the Juggler, if you want like a late 70s, early 80s kind of thriller, action-y adjacent movie, this is a good one to watch. And James Brolin,
it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. It is a fun ride. It is, and the pacing of it is great because it keeps moving forward the whole time.
Yeah. Well, that's part of why that the two versions that I bought, so I don't know if the video, do you put the video stream up?
Sometimes,
well?
Yeah.
So, Radiance is a distribution company, and they started a new line of distribution called Transmission. So this is their version of the movie.
Okay.
And it comes in like this box that has the 4K, and then there's like a poster and some like books and stuff. But
Nice.
The commentary on this one is the IMDb guys just reading IMDb credits for people, which this movie is a good ride. I had to stop watching with that commentary track because it was making me like, I just wanted to turn the movie back on and not listen to them. But
yeah,
but yeah, if you're a physical media person, worth looking into. It's a quality little set. It's got some good stuff in it. But
nice.
Yeah, I'm glad that somebody found it and brought it back. And always looking for excuses to find movies I haven't seen, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's great to dive into kind of old filmmaking too. So it's very cool. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you on. As I mentioned at the top of the show, like this show exists because of a conversation that you and I had at one point. And so thank you for that. But it's always great to have you on. And are you up to anything right now that you want to let people know about? Still working on stuff?
Well, I've been doing at work. I've been doing like a leadership course for the last 5 months or whatever.
Okay.
And that's just finished. So I'm just at this like regrouping stage, but I've definitely got a few ideas that I want to start chipping away at.
Excellent.
So look forward to seeing some of that. So
very much so.
But yeah, I'm happy to be back on, and I'm glad that you've taken it and actually done something with it. And thanks to all the other people that have carried, helped with all the other episodes. Obviously.
And you always have a spot on this show to talk about anything, which is great. So thank you for being here. Now I do this weekly. It's a fun show to do. I do it every week, Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/TV's Travis. And if you want to watch it live, join the chat room and talk about that. It comes out on Wednesdays as a podcast everywhere, including YouTube in a video format. You can get it a few days early if you become a patron. You can go to patreon.com/WYHS. Become a patron. That also helps me do things like live versions of the show. Like I'm going to be doing it Nerdtacular 26 and DragonCon as well. So I'll be doing the show there. Now, next week, I have Kevin Cafferty coming back on the show, and we're going to go in a very different direction with Singing in the Rain. Because I've never seen Singing in the Rain. I've seen some clips of it. I've never actually seen the movie. And there was a conversation going on about musicals, and I was like, well, let's do it. So I'm going to watch Singing in the Rain for the first time, and I'm going to talk about it in a week. Nice. I can't wait for that. And I've also got seen that. I've got some other fun ones coming up. Hammond Chamberlain is coming back on the show to talk about a movie called The Amazing Mr. Blunden. And I'm also going to be talking with a swan named Emily about Johnny Mnemonic very soon. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But definitely check that out. You can find all this information at tvstravis.com. But Josh, thank you so much, as always, for being here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And just remember to enjoy your movies, everybody. And let's be excellent to each other. All right. There's been weight you haven't seen.
It's Sonny. I need your money.
I love that guy.
Oh, that's great.